Okay, let's get started here. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Crime Waves. It is incredible to see such a diverse group of participants joining us virtually from all around the country. Whether you're tuning in from a major city or a small rural community, you're from a university or community college, or you're from a professional agency in criminal justice, or even if you're just joining us from your living room, I am so glad you have chosen to be part of the 2026 Crime Waves NextGen Xchange. It is particularly meaningful that we are gathered this month. March is National Criminal Justice Month, a time dedicated to promoting awareness of the complex issues within our justice system and fostering a better understanding of the causes and consequences of crime. There is no better way to honor this month than by engaging in the multidisciplinary, solution-oriented work we have planned for the next 4 days. So I am your host, Christopher Zaleski. I am an associate professor of criminology with a law degree and police legal advisor training from the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, and have over 20 years of experience working in the criminal justice field, including as a state law enforcement officer and a chief probation officer. I am joined here tonight by my co-host, Dr. Mary Evans, an assistant professor of criminology, also here at the Chicago School. I want to thank you all for joining this very important exchange, sponsored by the Criminology Department at the Chicago School. At times this week, you're going to hear from me. You're going to hear from other professors and also students who are completing their bachelor's degree in criminology. We will also be joined by amazing leaders in their field across criminal justice. As I look across this virtual room and see the powerful convergence of perspective and passion, we have students, the literal next generation of the field. We have professionals, the practitioners currently doing the hard work in our communities, and we have community members, the people for whom this system exists. Rarely do these three groups sit at the same table. The objective is simple, yet it's ambitious: to bridge the gap between academic theory, professional practice, and community expectations. We're here to create a multidisciplinary environment where we don't just discuss the future of criminology, we actively shape it. So at the Chicago School, we are driven by an innovative mission to educate the next generation of change makers in innovative theory and culturally competent practice to strengthen the integrated health of individuals, organizations, and communities. Now, criminology is often tucked away in sociology departments, but we view it as a core behavioral science. At the heart of our approach is an exploration of the intersection between psychological principles and criminological theory. We want to understand the why behind the behavior, the environmental factors, and also the cognitive processes that drive decision making. These insights provide a vital backdrop for the specific topics we've selected for this exchange. Now, to guide our work this week, we have built this exchange on 4 core pillars. First is applied innovation. This is our behind-the-scenes look at the field. Through our showcases in CSI, forensic psychology, and criminal profiling, we are going to level the playing field. We're moving beyond the dramatization we see on TV and into the disciplined, real-world science of how things actually get done. We want to have some fun showing you the how before we really dive into the why. Second is transformative leadership. We are looking at moving beyond the way it's always been done. This is about reshaping the culture of the justice system from the inside out to prioritize humanity and courage. Third is operational and constitutional integrity. This is the bedrock of the criminal justice profession. We have the tough, objective conversations about policing, the Fourth Amendment, and community supervision, ensuring our operations always align with the legal standards our community expects. And fourth, behavioral health integration. We are committed to ensuring mental health is no longer a sidebar in justice, but a central healthcare first component. We are looking at how we respond to the human being in crisis, not just the incident. Finally, our goal is to ensure you leave here with more than just a good experience. We want you to leave with literacy. Whether you are a student looking to enter the workforce or a community member wanting to see change in your neighborhood, you need the language and the evidence-based knowledge to advocate for reform. This is why we've integrated a micro-credentialing program into this event. Now, these badges aren't just digital stickers. They are verified proof that you have the tools to be the next-gen leader, that you want to be a next-gen leader. So when you get these badges, please show them off. Put it on your resumes. Put it on your social media. Let folks know that you attended this and you are ready to advocate and be a leader in your community. Now, to understand why this summit is so urgent, we have to look at the ground beneath our feet. As we stand here in early 2026, the data tells a story that many would find shocking, given the headlines we see every day. The truth is, we are living through a historic period of safety. In 2025, the number of crimes reported to law enforcement fell at a historic clip, led by the largest one-year drop in murder ever recorded in American history. This drop in crime in 2025 is very real, and it's very large. Now, just because crime is dropping most places doesn't mean that crime is dropping everywhere. We know that. But there are cities that saw large increases in murder in 2025, though there's no agencies in this sample that we're looking at on the screen here with an increase of over 15 murders in 2025 from the year prior. However, there were over 30 agencies with a decline of over 15 murders over that time period. Looking at individual cities highlights the historic nature in the drop in murder. New Orleans is on pace for the fewest murders since 1970. New York City reported the fewest shootings ever recorded. Numerous cities recorded the lowest numbers through November of last year since the 1960s, including Detroit since 1964, Baltimore 1962, Philadelphia 1966, Oakland since 1967, and San Francisco likely since early 1940s. Overall, there were likely around 12,000 fewer people murdered in the United States in 2024 and 2025 than in 2020 and 2021. This is tremendous progress that should be celebrated, while acknowledging that 14,000 or so murders this past year in the United States is still far too many. We do know that not every crime gets reported, right? We know that not every crime gets reported to police, but based on data from multiple sources, crime in the United States fell a lot in 2025 to levels not seen in decades. The trend, folks, is moving toward safety. So, if things are getting safer, why is there so much anxiety out there? Why do we hear a need to restore law and order? Why does it feel that we are in a crisis? Well, this is the perception paradox, and it's the reason why we're here this week. While the data shows a decline that began as far back as 2023, the public narrative is often dominated by talk of skyrocketing violence and lawlessness. We see confident claims of credit from political leaders, but as experts will tell you, disaggregating the factors that actually reduce crime is impossibly difficult work. The decline we are seeing is a kaleidoscope of factors. And let's just look at some of these. There's the proliferation of community violence intervention programs. CVIs are finally being treated as essential infrastructure by treating violence as a public health contagion rather than just a moral failing. Cities are interpreting the cycle before the first shot is fired. Also, economic stabilization. While inflation remains a concern, the stabilization of the labor market for entry-level positions has a direct inverse relationship with property crime and survival crimes. And then also targeted technology. From specialized gun trace task forces to better forensic integration, law enforcement is becoming more surgical and less scattershot. However, while local crime is dropping, we are witnessing a massive tectonic shift at the federal level. The focus of our federal agencies is pivoting sharply towards immigration enforcement. It is there. We are seeing a resource overhaul for what has been described as the largest deportation operation in history. So this isn't just a border issue, it's an interior issue. We are seeing the use of the National Guard and active military at times for domestic enforcement, and we've seen the invocation of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to bypass modern court backlogs to speed up deportations. This brings us to the most volatile intersection for the next-gen practitioner, the Fourth Amendment. When federal priorities shift towards mass enforcement, the search and seizure protections we study in the classrooms and officers get trained on in police academies face a massive stress test. As a practitioner, you will be asked to balance public safety with the constitutional rights of individuals. You cannot lead in this environment if you do not understand the legal boundaries of your authority. You must know where the badge ends and the Constitution begins. So this brings us to the why of this conference. We cannot afford to be passive observers of these trends. First, we're here to protect what works. If we don't understand that community-led initiatives and behavioral health integration are driving these drops, we risk losing funding to these tough-on-crime policies that the evidence suggests may actually make us less safe. Second, to close the gap. We know that even when national stats are down, lived experiences in specific neighborhoods can feel very different. We need the tools to address those localized crises with precision. And third, to lead with literacy and integrity. As a next-gen practitioner, your greatest weapon is not a badge or a gun. It is your literacy. You must be able to distinguish between forensic dramatization and real-world scientific protocol. You must be able to speak fluently about legal standards and use of force so that you can advocate for accountability in your communities. We are at a crossroads where we can either lean into evidence-based progress or retreat into fear-based rhetoric. This week is about choosing the evidence. To help you navigate that choice, let's look at exactly what the next few days have in store for you. We have curated a 4-day journey designed to move from the why to the how. Monday, we have a keynote. We are here tonight with my opening, and then we're going to move to Dr. Jean Katz to talk about more effective law enforcement approaches to critical mental health. As service calls involving mental health struggles increase, the traditional response has often led to tragic outcomes. Tonight, we explore a transformative model where medical and behavioral health professionals take the lead. This is about shifting from a containment mindset to a care mindset, ensuring that the first hand extended in a crisis is a helping one. Then we have our 3-day deep dive, Tuesday through Thursday. For the remainder of the summit, each evening will feature a high-impact showcase, followed by a comprehensive briefing. For Tuesday, it's our science and leadership night. The showcase, forensic DNA analyst Stephanie Arbogast leads a live masterclass in applied crime scene investigation. We're moving beyond television dramatizations into real science. We're going to talk about presumptive blood testing, drug identification chemistry, and the disciplined art of fingerprint dusting. Then, the briefing. We're honored to be joined by Chief Doreen Jokers of the Overland Park Police Department. As a founding member of The Curve, alongside Simon Sinek, Chief Jokers will discuss transforming police culture through humanity and purpose. And on Wednesday, it's the psychology of justice and also talking about the use of deadly force. Our showcase, Dr. Jason Meadows, presents a masterclass on the intersection of psychology and the justice system. We will examine the cognitive drivers behind mass hysteria, coerced confessions, and the impact of violent media. The briefing, it will be me. I will be leading a session titled Examining Police Use of Deadly Force. We will move past the media commentary to look at the Fourth Amendment and the Graham standard of objective reasonableness. We will specifically analyze the 2025 Supreme Court ruling in Barnes versus Felix, which unanimously overturned the moment of threat doctrine in favor of the totality of the circumstances review. This conversation is also about cops shooting at cars or individuals in cars, as we've seen most recently with some ICE agents engaging with civilians at times. And Thursday, we're going to talk about behavioral fingerprints and the long game. The showcase, Professor Jerry J.R. Rainbolt unveils the Mind Hunters Toolkit, 10 filters of criminal profiling. You'll learn the vital difference between MO and signature and how victimology guides investigators to an offender's door. And the briefing. Our final session focuses on reentry and the behavioral health care bridge. Dave Wolfsgruber from LA County Probation and Bob Dorsheimer, the CEO of Mile High Behavioral Healthcare, will discuss how modern supervision and integrated treatment stabilizes lives and reduces recidivism. So, earning your credentials. We want to ensure your commitment to the NextGen standard is recognized professionally. You're going to get digital badges. For every individual showcase or briefing you attend, you will receive a specific digital badge. There's also the NextGen Justice Practitioner Badge. This premier credential is awarded to those who attend all 4 nightly briefings. We are going to have these on demand, so if you miss a live session, you can watch the recording and still earn your badges. We will be sending out information after these each night. Actually, at the end of the week or the beginning of next week, you will get a follow-up email. So if you missed one of the nights, you can rewatch it and you can submit a little survey to know that you've watched it on demand, and we will still issue you those certificates. Badges will be issued through Credly within 14 days after these sessions. We will also provide formal certificates of attendance if you need them for your professional development records shortly after the conference actually concludes. So look for more information as we progress. So everything we discussed this week, from crime scene investigation to police culture, is an extension of the Chicago School approach. The Chicago School was founded in 1979 by a group of psychologists and educators. The Chicago School was built on a simple, radical idea that education should be hands-on and designed for the real world. For over 40 years, we have operated as a leading nonprofit university, growing from a single focus on clinical psychology into a powerhouse of over 40 programs across business, psychology, behavioral science, and medicine. While we do have physical campuses in Chicago, Washington, D.C., Dallas, and Southern California, we have embraced the future of next-gen learning by bridging some of our most impactful programs, including our BA in Criminology and our MA in Applied Forensic Psychology, 100% online. The approach: education, innovation, community, and impact. This summit, Crime Waves, is a direct reflection of our commitment to innovation. We don't just wait for the industry to change. We strive to be the catalyst for that change. Education, guided by practitioners, scholar, faculty who are leaders in the field, that's who we have as our instructors here. We foster a collaborative ecosystem where faculty, students, and practitioners engage as partners in progress. You aren't just a student here, you are an active member of a professional network dedicated to sharing learning and mutual support. And we believe that education is a catalyst for tangible change. By applying evidence-based research to address real-world challenges, we are actively transforming the landscape and molding the change makers of tomorrow. So for those of you looking to formalize your experience here, the Chicago School's Bachelor of Arts in Criminology is a 100% online program intentionally designed for working professionals and busy students who require flexibility without sacrificing academic rigor. The Criminology program offers specializations, specialized tracks in forensic psychology, public health, and clinical mental health counseling. This allows our students to take graduate level coursework early that will count towards a master's degree. In the forensic psychology specialization, undergraduate students dive directly into advanced graduate level coursework, including psychopathology, the assessment and treatment of substance-related disorders, violence risk assessment, and profiling serial killers. This specialization allows students to complete 20 credits of graduate level coursework that count towards both their bachelor's and master's degrees. This is an early entry model, and it significantly accelerates the college journey, allowing students who graduate with their bachelor's to take only 10 additional credits to complete their Master of Arts in Applied Forensic Psychology. Our students can transition into professional practice sooner while saving both time and money. Well, whether you are already in the field or just starting, the BA Criminology degree and our Master's in Forensic Psychology programs equip students with the cultural competence and applied expertise to make an impact in your community. And in fact, we have a special tuition rate for those who are actively employed in the criminal justice system. If you want to know more about the Criminology program of the Chicago School, please visit our website. I'll share some links as well in the chat. But I'll be sending that thank you email to everyone who's registered with your information for the certificates. And I'll send more information if you want to know how to reach out about our programs here at the Chicago School. But we do prioritize, I guess, let me ask you really why. Why do we prioritize this level of clinical and legal rigor here? Because the next gen challenges we are here to discuss this week, from policing to mental health crises, cannot be solved with old school tactics alone. They require a deep understanding of human behavior and evidence-based intervention. So again, this is what we have coming up this week. Before we get started with our keynote, we have tomorrow night Crime Scene Investigation Showcase, and you get that badge. And then we have Chief Doreen Jokerst, where we have that badge for Justice, Leadership, and Culture. These are all Central Time times when you look at the screen here, so make sure you adjust for the time zone that you are in. Since we are kind of out of Chicago, everything is Central Time. So please join us if you can at the top of the hour for the showcases, and then you can join us at the bottom of the hour for the actual big briefing that will last a little over an hour. We wanted to make sure we had time for folks to talk and ask questions. So we thank everyone for coming here and joining us and finding out more about these things tonight. But as we transition in the next couple moments, we will be talking with Dr. Jean Ira Katz about more effective law enforcement approaches to mental health crises. So